Sup, nerds? Welcome to Powerful, a power metal podcast. This is Stella, and I'm here today with Kyle in real life, and I'm also joined by Eric.
Hey there.
From Tanagra, in the land of the internet / Oregon?
Yep.
Same thing. So we've received some news about Tanagra today, and since this is a kind of a one-off impromptu recording, why don't we just get right into it?
Yeah, powerful special report on the trademark dispute with Tanagra, which I think we'll kind of let you guys open up about what's going on.
Yeah, so you can start wherever. Do you want to just start by clarifying what happened?
Yeah, so this has been called, if you read random comments, which you might have, this has been called copyright infringement. This has been called we're being sued. This has been called patent trolling, and probably some other things. And all of those are not technically true. What it actually is a trademark dispute. So about, 6 months or 8 months ago or 9 months ago, something like that, I went ahead and purchased the trademarks for live performances and music streaming and printing CDs and all that stuff about music recordings to basically protect Tanagra in case somebody else was going to play live shows or print CDs under that name, because we were kind of starting to look at ourselves like, well, maybe we should start taking this a little more seriously. So
makes sense.
As of a little over a week ago, we had a notice from Nagra, which is a Swedish security and speaker company, and I don't know what else they do. And what it says is basically, give up your trademarks except for this very tiny thing, or we'll just take all of it. And I was like, well, I'm going to make you pay some money to do that then,
What was the tiny thing they're letting you keep?
Technically, we could do live performances, and that's it. But that's not very helpful because we haven't done a live performance in a couple years. So,
right. It's a tough spot.
Yeah. So, basically, people might be wondering, well, why does that sound lethal? So the problem is that, a giant multi-billion-dollar company that's willing to spend thousands of dollars to deal with a trademark dispute, may well cease and desist after they win that dispute. So you might say, why would they win? Well, that's because it's an exorbitant cost. It starts at about $3,000 just to address their dispute, and that's about how much they...
That's insane.
Yeah. And then the estimated costs to actually deal with the entire thing, which can take years, is between $50,000 and $150,000. So not worth it. Right.
Did you get those numbers from your guys' band lawyer?
So partially from him, partially from estimates online. I can send you a link later that shows you one breakdown, which gives you those numbers that I was just citing, basically. And it's just from some random law group in the US that he pointed us to.
And I'm guessing this is even more expensive with it being international.
I have no idea. They hired a law firm in Seattle, and they don't fly out. It's not like a real trial. You're not sitting there talking to people. You're just sending letters to and from the trademark office, and then some guy is presumably reading them. I mean, I don't know much about that, but basically it's a paper trial. It's not it's not Law and Order.
Right. There's no Phoenix Wright objections going on here, even that would be more fun.
Indeed.
Okay, all of this legal stuff really, really confuses me. How is filing a trademark different from starting a LLC or treating your band like a business? Is it different?
Oh, I don't know about... You're asking me the wrong questions here.
Oh my gosh. All of this stuff is... Yeah.
It's business... funny. I asked a buddy of mine who just finished up his first semester of law school about this earlier tonight, and his advice was to talk to a real lawyer.
Yeah, the LLC stuff, that's like if you get sued, it protects you from it hitting your own bank account. Basically, they can bankrupt whatever the LLC is and not you. I think that's how it works. I'm not a lawyer. Talk to somebody real,
Powerful is not actual legal advice.
Yeah, none of this is legal advice.
Do not take this podcast as legal advice.
Yeah, you're listening.
If you do, I'm very concerned about you.
You're listening to a bassist and a couple of people on the other side. So
and a couple of nerds. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so again, the reason that this could be considered lethal is that as soon as what they're saying is that we could confuse potential customers of their company, and that's the basis for their trademark dispute. And like I said, it's not really worth defending because it's extremely expensive. It's less hassle for us to change the name or something like that. However, after that, if we haven't changed the name and we're still sitting on all these CDs that are called Tanagra and whatever, if they decide to, which they might, they could say cease and desist selling stuff that says Tanagra. We just proved that you were confusing our customers, and now you have streaming services and music CDs and shirts and all this stuff that has a name that we don't like because it confuses our customers. And they have a pretty good case at that point, just because there's already something that says that we are confusing their customers because we didn't bother to contest it, right?
Because contesting it would have cost you a ton of money and resources and time.
Yes.
It's a real damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
So they may well, just be doing this to protect themselves, and then they just let you live and you be a band. But am I willing to risk sitting on 800 CDs and shirts and koozies and buttons and stickers and streaming services and all that crap? No. That's unreasonable. I can't. I have a month window that I could offload everything to people who actually might want it.
So is this like an official month window, or is this just like 1 month before
this is
a certain deadline?
That starts getting into more stuff I don't quite know. So the next part of the process is that we are supposed to answer by the 26th of February, and we are not likely to answer, in which case we default. I don't know if then it goes through anything else before they win, or if they just win there. So my assumption is they just win there. I have no idea. So I'm treating it like we have a month. It might be longer, and it could be indefinitely if they decided not to give us an order. But we have no idea whether that would happen. They've not bothered to respond to any messages directly or any messages that my lawyer sent about any kind of defense or anything like that. So basically, they haven't bothered to negotiate at all because they don't need to. And so that's a pretty dick move anyway.
Wow, they're not even replying to your lawyer?
No.
Oh my goodness.
So
it looks like there's been a bit of a stink raised online about this. I've seen multiple articles, a bunch of people supporting you guys on social media. Do you think that could at all influence the company to say, okay, hey, we're being jerks here, we'll drop this? Or is that just not how the real world works?
Well, the hope is that if there's enough of a stink raised, that somebody important will say, hey, why the hell is our stock as low as it is? Because it's actually the lowest it's been in like 8 months, which I was pretty...
Are you serious?
Yeah, it might even be 5 years, but yeah, you can go check it out. It's only down 3%, but take that for what you will. It could be that somebody, said some nasty comment online that was completely unrelated to us, but it seems to be a coincidence that, anyway. So
we'll choose to believe in this version.
The stars may have aligned, and it'll tell your narrative.
Sure. So it could well be that somebody hears that and says, oh, well, maybe this isn't worth our time and we should actually negotiate something very minor. Because, in my email to them, and I believe in the lawyer's email, it said something along the lines of, hey, there's coexistence agreements, there's non-competes, there's whatever. Like, obviously, you're in the power position. We can probably figure something out such that I can sell CDs as a tiny band, and you can sell whatever the hell you sell, and it's probably not an issue, right? But if they're not even going to respond, then...
If only they would reply to that.
you would, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, maybe. So, we'll see what ends up happening with that, but we're open to those kinds of responses, obviously, because we sent those kinds of messages. Yeah.
Right, and there's organizations with similar names that still coexist and sell things peacefully. So I would assume there is some good middle ground at least to be reached here, but if they don't talk to you because they say, oh no, we've got too much money to possibly care about humanity or something, then so be it.
Well, yeah, the lawyer said that usually in these cases, when people are being reasonable, the one on the defending side of the argument will put, let's say, a sticker on the CD that says, "We are not affiliated in any way with the excellent products that are made by Nagra," or something goofy like that.
That's like an ad for them.
Sure.
Honestly,
Sure.
I had never heard of Nagra before.
None of us have ever heard of this Swiss company, including you guys.
I mean, I'm basically quoting what my lawyer said, right? He said, normally in these cases, you'd put a little sticker on that says, "Hey, we're not affiliated with these people. If you want to go check them out, you can check them out here. We're in fact a band.
We are not them.
Just legally
we are
cover
in
your
fact
ass."
Right.
ultra prog."
And then that's in theory supposed to clear up the situation or whatever. But since they haven't talked to us, we have not been given any kind of option like that.
Okay. Well,
right.
What's the immediate plan?
So the immediate plan is still, we're liquidating everything we can because, on the chance that they decided to go after it, I don't want to sit on X hundred CDs for the rest of my life, or
That you
throw them
can't
away,
sell.
or pass them out to bums in Portland or something. So the idea is to, just get everything out there as cheap as we can to people who actually want it so that they can at least enjoy it. Digital downloads are free. And so the corollary to all that is that anybody who's ordering something on Bandcamp, I think this is true for a free digital downloads, even if you give us $0, I think you still put in your email. I don't actually know. And so the idea is that this builds up a nice mailing list. So if we do in fact get nuked, or it's too risky to stay on our name, or whatever other scenario that would cause us to make new projects or have a new name or whatever, then we can send a nice mail to all of those people and say, hey, this is what happened to all the members. This is where we went. This is where you can find music that sounds similar and all that stuff.
Your forwarding your forwarding address.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
How has the response been to you guys putting everything on deep sale today? Have people been like taking advantage of the pay what you want, going super cheap, or being generous with it?
It's been all over the map, which is great because some of the people who are generous compensate for the people who are what would, I guess as you put it, take advantage of the sale. It's true that at $1 we're taking a loss on anything they buy, but again, to me it's a sunk cost, right? We already have this product. We want it out in people's hands. I don't want to be sitting there clogging my garbage every day with another 200 CDs until it's finally out of my house or whatever. So that instead, like, hey, if you want it for $1, we'll send it to you for $1. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you just want it out of your house, and also like the people are paying shipping anyway, so you're not.
Yeah,
you don't have to pay extra for shipping.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that was the case, so we weren't shelling out to do it. More like we already took the loss, now we can give it to you for whatever price, because we're just trying to get it out there. And the other thing is it sparks goodwill, right? So it's a nice story to be like, hey, you can buy our stuff for cheap, this company's shitting on us,
do with that information whatever you want.
Yeah, from the narrative standpoint in the community, you're always going to be the little guys who tried and got fucked up by some big company.
Yeah, and so anyway, that's the idea, is that we're not technically being sued. It's just we could be down the line, and if we don't take proactive measures in the window that we have, then we can get screwed by being ambivalent, or however you want to say it. Okay.
So any ideas for what your guys' potential rebranding might be? Tanagra of Fire, would that be legally distinct?
Tanagra of Fire?
Tanagra of Fire.
That'd be pretty good. Maybe I'll put that in our suggestion list.
I hear it's worked before. Just think about it.
Actually, so the first one I thought of was Wayfarer. Turns out that's actually a very excellent black metal band in Denver, Colorado.
I feel like I've heard of them.
They're great.
That sounds real familiar.
I just found them the other week. You said that today you might be talking about what people are listening to in 2020. So that's the thing I just started listening to. That, and I've been listening the heck out of Katana Zero's soundtrack. I love that soundtrack.
Ooh, that's a cool pick.
Yeah, that soundtrack's amazing.
I saw your guys as an artist had offered to help you out with rebranding and all that as well. That's nice of him.
Yeah, so I think the current runner-up that the drummer suggested the other day was that Meridium, and I was like, well, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Oh, you would just call yourselves Meridium. It's already
the letters are already
people.
there. Like, you just get rid of the Tanagra part, you move Meridium up to the top of the thing.
It's like a self-titled album. There you go.
You still have to fix the first album, but whatever. Maybe you just change that album to being made by None of This Is Real. Who knows?
That's
there you go.
So smart.
Two legally distinct entities.
I just plugged Meridium into Metal Archives and nothing popped up.
There's nothing there. Yeah, I was doing a search on it the other day, so that might end up being a thing. But
jump on it.
Nothing confirmed yet. Because I mean, this, like I said, this was dropped on our head, I think Tuesday of last week, and we've been figuring out, what are we doing? Because it was kind of funny because each day of the week felt like the next stage in the 5 stages of grief. So, the first day, it seemed like, nothing's going to happen. The lawyer pointed out this is all BS. That's denial, yeah? The next day, you're all pissed. You're like, oh, I'm going to make a campaign out of this, and they're going to know my name. Uh-huh. Yeah. And then the next day, you're like, well, maybe they'll negotiate. Maybe they'll be willing to do... And the next day, you're like, everything's fucked. And then finally, you're like, well, I guess we're just going to make lemons out of lemonade and see what we can do.
That's literally the 5 stages of grief. Well done.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It worked out pretty good. So
I think a lot of the fans are still in the anger phase right now.
I mean,
it's the internet. It's always the anger phase.
That's true. It's defaulted to anger.
I mean, that happens to be a helpful phase at the moment.
For sure.
Yeah. Meridium is not taken, and None of This Is Real is also not taken.
Is that also something going through your head right now? Dude, none of this is real.
None of this is real.
I don't know.
I think phrase band names are really cool, especially for prog bands. So,
yeah, well,
your band name should be a sentence.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it might work for the first album just to get it. I mean, that's assuming we still have copies. If we don't have copies, I don't know if we have to deal with it. It depends on if they come after the streaming services, which is kind of one of the most obnoxious things they could do. Like, if they actually, assuming they don't drop it, and then they actually go and sue us for cease and desist and whatever, it'd be super obnoxious to have to go deal with the streaming services stuff. Especially because it drops you off of any lists that you're on and all that crap.
Oh, so. like the Reddit, what is it called? Album of the Year vote.
They can't drop us off
2019.
Well, that's also obnoxious. So imagine that we change our name. Somebody comes around 2 months later, sees Album of the Year from a couple months ago. They're like, oh, that's pretty cool. They look us up. We don't exist. Well, that's pretty stupid, right?
No.
Well, so yeah, that's kind of why we're leaving a bread trail. Just trying to build up a nice mailing list, make sure whoever could want our music can have it. Again, digital download is completely free. You don't have to pay anything unless you want to, in which case, thank you. You're a great person. But you can get that, and then you can find out where the hell we're going when we figure that out ourselves. Because right now it's
what other merch do you guys have up on there? I was looking for a shirt earlier today, but you're sold out of my size, which I guess that's a good thing.
You got sold out of extra small, even. I was like,
so
I had to get a small.
If you're lucky,
I think it might be too big.
I believe there's a few more that we're gonna put up, but I think Steve has all the shirts, and he's got to go through and see what's sold and what hasn't, and so I got to figure that out. There's plenty of CDs. I think there's still some koozies, and we'll probably be putting like extra stickers and buttons in with stuff just for fun,
Oh yeah, chuck them in. I told all my friends to that there's $1 metal. They don't listen to metal, so this is the only way to get them to look at it.
Basically, collector's items.
Budget metal.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, if this actually became a thing, and
yeah, after you guys become None of This Is Real, this is the only merch that's gonna say Tanagra.
Think like 20 years from now, and you guys are titans in the genre. The people who have the original art, like artwork CDs and stuff.
We're gonna be the OG fans.
Like, I remember when they were Tanagra, man.
Yeah, none of this is real. So sick.
Well, you guys are far too kind.
We're just optimistic or something.
So are you gonna operate are you gonna operate with the intention of removing all traces of Tanagra from the internet by February 26th?
I mean, it doesn't have to be done by then, and I don't think you have to remove everything. You just have to
like all your Spotify artist pages.
That's a whole thing we don't even know yet. Like, again, I don't know what happens if they come after us. If they did come after us after they win the dispute. I can't say whether they'll come after streams or whether they'll come after everything or whether they'll come after for CDs. Who knows? It's just one of those things that we would probably go rebrand everything, but there's some tension on whether we want to do that or not. And yeah, it's an obnoxious process. The whole thing.
Yeah, because at this point, you're still not sure whether you should abandon ship and just start rebranding now. Or maybe they'll.
You're just throwing everything out of the ship just in case you need to abandon.
Yeah, it's kind of like. Let's see, is Red October the nuclear sub or whatever? So it's kind of like that torpedo is headed towards your ship, and you don't know if it's gonna hit you, right? So you're like, well,
so you're like, do I jump off?
I guess I will send a Morse code warning or whatever the hell they had, and tell them that we're about to blow up. That's kind of it. Like, and the other thing is, so aside from the mailing list and aside from trying to liquidate what we have so it's easier to move on if we need to, part of the other thing is that, these laws are the way they are because no one does anything about them, right? So if you think this is stupid, if you think that you should have to, I don't know, confront me personally in some fashion before you make me pay $3,000 to say anything in my defense, maybe we can change that somehow via voting or who knows. Because the law is pretty BS in this regard, in my opinion, anyway.
It is.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe they're not replying because they just want you to suffer and pay $3,000 before you can tell them to go away.
Maybe. I mean, that was my position
Perhaps.
to them. It was like, well, I'm not just gonna give you my rights. You're at least gonna pay for them. Because
right.
Well, so like that's another thing that sucks about this. Even if it was absolutely nothing but the trademark stuff, I paid $700 out of my pocket to get those trademarks, and I did it for a reason. Okay? Like, I did it so that we could be sort of more serious and we could more seriously approach becoming a thing, and that, other people can't just print the album willy-nilly or crap like that. You know what I mean? I mean, there's copyright issues, but you get the idea. And you try and take yourself seriously, and then you get nuked for it. And it's, I don't know, it's obnoxious.
It's kind of ironic that you made this step to kind of move the band forward, and now here you get hit with a setback.
Yeah. I mean, we had thought about this for years too. It just happened to be that after Meridium came out, so I'll be honest, there's actually another band called Tanagra that was playing a show right around the time that
there
was.
What?
So and they wouldn't respond to us. We sent them a few messages on Facebook because they were pretty new and said, hey, please quit it. We already have a global market. We've been selling to a whole bunch of countries. Like, we're not a huge deal, but please quit it. And they wouldn't respond. So part of we were already thinking about trademark stuff and all that. And so we were like, well, I guess if we get a trademark, they'd maybe listen to us. So we got a trademark and they listened to us. And then, a month or two later, Nagra came after us. So.
Oh my gosh. And the sad part, the most ridiculous part is Nagra is not Tanagra.
It's a whole extra syllable.
I know. It's a ta.
Well, and one of the trademarks they're attacking, they have nothing in it, right? So you could buy the music recordings and stuff, right? Because you could say, well, it's audio recordings and these trademarks. Oh, well, maybe you don't know. So trademarks are kind of like spheres of influence. So you buy like a trademark for your merch. So your merch can have that trademark on it, but other people can't put Tanagra on stuff. And that might be like CDs and and in our case, like phonographs and basically all kinds of audio things, just because the lawyer threw them all in there, whatever. So they, being an audio company of some kind, have recording devices in that same trademark. So then that's why it's a defensive move in their side, right? Like if someday we pivoted to making audio recording equipment, maybe if they don't defend it, they have some problem, right?
Yeah.
So that one makes some sense. But the reason you can tell they're assholes is that they went for our live performance trademark.
Live performance.
Which they do not do and have nothing to do with. So it's like, what are you doing? Why do you want to make it so you can attack us for literally anything we can do if you're going to be nice guys, right? They're not.
Yeah, that seems overly aggressive.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole situation does. I think the moral of the story just being people need to talk to each other and not be dicks.
Yeah, frankly, like, we'd be happy to negotiate something that's like, put a sticker on the thing, or we don't go and make audio or cybersecurity devices. Like, hey, we don't need Tanagra brand cybersecurity devices. Like, okay, we can handle that. We won't go into that field, right?
If only they would reply to your emails.
Yeah.
Getting left on red. Oh man, that's a 2020 problem.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what happened? I mean, I could only personally contact them sort of through their media thing, so that's what I did. But you'd think that the lawyers might respond in like sure, we're willing to negotiate about X and Y, but that's not really how it went. They just said, you can do this or we're gonna take it from you. And it's like, well, I guess you can take it,
So I think to all of our humble listeners out there, keep raising a fuss, keep buying Tanagra's stuff, get it out of their houses. It's for a good cause, and it's it's great music, obviously. Album of the year, so you're getting something good. I think that covers most of what we wanted to go through.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of told the story about the whole shenanigans going on right now. So if this is your first time hearing the name Tanagra, let it be known that this is not affiliated with any sort of audio recording company. And in fact, this is a musical band from Portland, Oregon. I don't know why I keep forgetting what city you're in. And they make the ultra prog, and their albums are called Meridium, and none of this is real. So find them on the Bandcamp and give it a listen.
Well, you can.
And the people of Reddit have said that Meridium is their favorite album of 2019. So you better check it out.
And
threateningly.
Thanks again for having me on and letting me hopefully clear this up for people who are confused.
Yeah, keep us in the loop as to how you've decided to proceed with this whole.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting ongoing situation. We can give this drama of the year in the next Powerful Awards. Dude, this is an early contender already. This is great.
Hey, I'm all for it.
Cool.
Alrighty. Well, thanks for reaching out and doing this on short notice, Eric. It's been a pleasure here.
Yeah, and we're happy to share this news with all of our listeners and friends in the power metal community.
Yeah, all 5 of them.
All 5 of them.
Well, as soon as we figure out what we're doing, we'll bug you again, all right?
Perfect.
Okay, cool.
Hey, thanks again.
Peace out and stay powerful.
Stay powerful.